Hey everybody, welcome to another Tech Digest video. We're on road to 8.6 here. Got a little thing I need to do here, so I decided to pop in for a few minutes and get it done. Let me show you. So I'm still waiting for the starter. I sent those lines out to get remade, so kind of like same spec, just with some longer lengths, different fittings on the ends to make it work. I think everything is kind of like on a budget, right? Like I'm not just throwing money at the car to make it work. I'm doing everything with some thought behind it, believe it or not. And one thing we have to do today is create some lines. So this oil cooler, oil filter relocation kit goes right over here. So I made one line right here that goes from the bottom of the oil cooler. I don't know if you can see that too well. That's going to go over there underneath, and I wanted it to fit in this hole, but yeah, once you kind of like get it right over here, it's such a thick cable that, or thick line, that it doesn't bend enough to fit into the fitting. So I'm gonna take off the front bumper and try to trim around this to make it a little bit bigger, and then make another line. So kind of gonna get to that today. Just something that's, if I have a few minutes of time, I'm gonna just try to get something done here and there. I have a deadline, right? So yeah, if in case anybody's never made their own AN fittings and hoses, yeah, essentially, you just want to make sure you have the right fittings for the right size. This is a -10, and yeah, I used my vise, dabbed up a little bit of oil, and I'll show you guys how to do that. But yeah, let's get to it. To take off my bumper, it's pretty easy. We have a 17mm bolt on each end, so that's all it takes. There it is. Very simple, very easy to take off. Back in the day, could not find these brackets for really cheap, even though the bumper I only bought for like 500 bucks. This from Ireland. So I had my buddy Steven make these for me. So we all know that story. RIP to him. But he made these, and they go on and off really easily. So the next step is to move some of this out of the way. Use this bungee cord that was giving me a hard time getting my bumper off, since I use it to kind of like keep some tension off the wires when I'm doing stuff. So I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way and try to get my cutter in there and just cut out a little bit more so I can route things properly. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Hopefully, whenever this baby's running on track, I don't hit anything, because yeah, this whole front end would be toast. Start pulling up. Put this to the side gently. See where the running. I'm going to mark the hole a little bit. Got plenty of space here until we hit this bracket, so I think I'm just going to get right up to that edge and make it work. All right, so I made a little mark over here. Shove this cable up over a bracket here. Let's start cutting. before I do that, let me put a little board back here. I did like a little test cut to make sure everything fits here, but then I realized I didn't have anything behind it. It's kind of catch sparks, you know, just going to be metal flying and stuff. I don't want anything to get gunked up with metal or whatever. My engine bay is becoming messier by the day. The more work I do, the more cutting. So anyways, let's start cutting. I'm gonna grab some pliers and see if I can move that around. Oh yeah, I mean this thing cut like butter. There's not much thickness in this metal here. Let's see if I can push it in and out until it just snaps off. Not sure if that's gonna work well. Got for these cheap gloves, they work pretty good. Oh. This is another one of those parts that only you guys will end up seeing. So, not too concerned with the way it looks, as long as it works for the intended purpose. Loose paint here. There's only one layer of paint for certain parts of the engine bay. I'm going to check to make sure the cable fits in here. And it does. It's really all I needed. So I can attach the oil cooler line and yeah, run it in there safely. Just need to spray that real quick with some primer so it doesn't get more rusty. All right, so that's done there. Just gonna let that dry up for a little bit. I'll take off this fitting down here, and I'm gonna grab a line that I have here. I was trying to like mock up and see lengths and all this random stuff, so I'm gonna bring that over here to my not so trusty vise setup, and I'm gonna show you guys how I make my lines, or at least one end of it. All right, so what I've done was put the line in the vice grip, and it was already marked off with some blue tape, but this edge is not cleanly cut, so I'm going to use this cutter again to just make a sharper, cleaner cut, and I'll show you why in a few seconds, because you want to have a very clean cut, so when you're putting your fittings on, you're not building up and having blockage from all of this fibrous material on the outside. This is like braided stainless with like a nylon coating, rubber on the inside. Yeah, let me show you how I just cut through this thing really easy. All right, so I'm going to use my edge cutters here to just snip off some excess. Just trying to get the cleanest surface possible. Again, you can watch similar videos that are probably shot better on how to make your own fittings at home. But that's pretty much it right there. Get some of this off. And on one of those videos, I did learn a cool little trick. So you're going to take apart your fitting. This end here is going to go over this end. So what I'm going to do is loosen up the vise a little bit. So I'm going to need to add some pressure here. Put it up here up top. And I had some oil, some air tool oil laying around. And this is kind of perfect to just put a small smidge around the edge. That will allow this baby to go over it. All right. I'm to that point where maybe it's a little too tight for me. So I'm bringing out the force with my rubber mallet. Just hold it in my hand and all right, so I'm kind of seeing there that there's some seating that you want to have happen with the hose. Runs up right up to the edge of the threads, and now we're gonna get these babies on, or get this baby on. So I don't have that fancy tool. You guys probably seen in other videos where like slots right here and it holds your fitting. So in order to prevent it from scratching, I just grabbed a piece of cardboard and I'm going to just put it up on the edge, allowing this surface right here to be exposed enough that when I grab the, when I start grabbing the wrench and torquing this baby down, it doesn't close up on the cardboard itself, create a gap. So just little ghetto tricks here and there. You know, we do what we can here in tiny ass garage for Project Latte Roku. All my money goes into lattes, so I don't really have money for cool tools. But here we are, another hot day in Florida. Make sure this is set right. All right. So you're gonna have the other side of your fitting. Make sure that's clean. You know, I'm just talking crap when I say fancy, because got this AN wrench for like 15-20 bucks off of eBay Motors, I believe it was. So I'm sure the fitting that goes here, that piece, is probably just as cheap. So maybe next video you'll see me buy one of those. But this piece here is going to go inside of that rubber hose. It's going to take a little bit of force, so I'm going to just try to get one thread started. That way it starts grabbing. Oof, it's hot. It's not even noon yet. All right, so I'm going to just try to keep this hose on the bottom from turning. I'll adjust it once we get a lot more threads in. These wrenches are really made so you don't damage your fittings, and you don't scratch them. You spend a lot of money on fittings, and it doesn't take much to strip off some anodizing. Anodized metal isn't the most durable to impact or to other metal abrasive tools. So hopefully this is the first and last time I got to do this. We don't have any leaks. Every brand of fitting has a different reputation online. I just say, you know, buy what you can afford. I've seen stories from both ends where, you know, people are spending $40, $50 a fitting and still running into issues. So yeah, just you figure out what's best for you. I went somewhere in the middle in terms of pricing, because my car is littered with AN fittings, both PTFE and your regular braided. So anywhere I can save a few bucks is great, because, you know, $12 here, $20 here really adds up quickly. So yeah, it looks like we are set. Got no gap on that. So still got swivel functionality. Some little marks here and there. Let me grab a Sharpie. It's a little trick if you have black fittings, which look way better than the blue and the red ones, but I have some of those in my car anyway. I'm not sure if you can see it from this angle, but we're just gonna touch that up. It's not a show car. I plan on one day having to take these off for some reason, so no big deal. Not a show car, but you know, I like black fittings. Not gonna help with oil, right? All right, so the fitting is done on this side. Gonna put it under there, run the hose in through the to where the oil filter sandwich plate is, and see how much we need to cut. Okay, so we're looking about this much here. This is pretty close to where we cut, so I'm just gonna tape this off here, and yeah, we'll have just a tiny bit of wiggle room. So that's kind of like my line right there. All right, time to cut and suffer through this again. That's way better this time around. All right. Yeah, this vice not the best setup, but it's functional. You saw me tear it off the wall last time, but this time it's seeing some light duty, and light duty seems to be where it's at. All right, so just gonna twist that onto there. Make sure I don't get the nylon all caught up. Trusty rubber mallet. I'm gonna do this with no gloves. I did mash my hand before, but yeah, it's a lot easier when you want to hold things in. So I just push it as far as I can with my limited physical strength. And then yeah, I'll start mashing this baby in. Yes, I'm using a rubber mallet. You don't want to use metal, because guess what happens when you have metal on metal contact? You get some ugly AN fittings that will probably not work well. Okay. Yeah, I think the secret to doing this quickly is not using gloves, because it just slips right out the gloves. So I just use some hand cleaner when you're done, some dish soap, get all the gunk and grime off, and no biggie. Yeah, this baby's pretty much on there. All right, gonna do the same again. Trusty piece of cardboard. Open this baby up here. Got the marker somewhere around here on standby. All right, a little bit of oil. That's what's going to be going through here. Also, I want to point out my cool scrubs. Not a doctor, I just play one on YouTube. Yeah, if you are in the medical field or just happen to come across some scrubs, they're great, especially in warm weather. When you're working on cars at home, they're just pretty much like wearing pajamas, except you can get these completely disgusting dirty with oil and grease, and doesn't cost an arm and a leg to replace, nor does it really matter. I use scrubs for a lot of different things. Yard work, car work, anything where I don't want to ruin clothes that I want to use outside of my house. So, and they're comfy, especially when you wear it with a fanny pack. All right, let's tighten this baby on. Yeah, that oil trick I learned on a YouTube video is really helping. Yeah, because I used to have a lot harder time getting fittings on. But yeah, it's a little dab of oil goes a long way. Right. Let's give it one more turn. Famous last words. Well, that's how I'm scratching this fitting. There we go. Okay. I'll grab my marker real quick. Look at that. Little bits of touch-up paint here. It's probably a Mighty Car Mods tip. I watch a lot of YouTube, so good or bad. Mighty Car Mods, definitely good. Gears and Gasoline, definitely good. Speed Academy, definitely good. A few other guys out there, guys and gals. I like watching their videos. All right, let's go put this in the car. Put a little rubber gasket here. I'll show you guys in a minute. That I made out of just a piece of hose I didn't really have use for. That way it'll prevent chafing cutting into the hose, which I don't think we'll have much of that issue here. Oh, come on, baby. Let's make sure these thread on properly. We're not getting any metal in here. And yes, off screen, I did blow these out. Okay, connect it on the other end. Okay, that's it. So that's in for now. I'm gonna get a 90-degree, run it down this way, boom, get it right into the oil relocation kit that I got there. So this is in and out. Basically, this side is for basically oil coming in. This side is for oil coming out. Here's that little gasket I was talking about. I made a piece of rubber hose. This is a smart and cheap way to make pass-throughs with metal, not damage whatever you're passing through. So we're all set here. Make sure everything is nice and tight. Get some zip tie action going on over here to keep these together and sturdy. Get my bumper back on, but this is what we're looking at. I feel very accomplished today. In the future, I do want to get some air directed directly to this thing that I made, my oil cooler and my radiator. So yeah, that'll be in the future. Once the car's running, then we'll get some little metal or ABS plastic coming off to each side and funneling all the air directly in there. Yeah, it helps improve efficiency for airflow. But for now, this is what we got. So I appreciate you guys watching, and yeah, we'll check in again soon with part 4. Waiting on those lines over there. That's going to be pretty epic on my end because it'll help remove something off that list. Starters should be in today. Of course, there's always a delay with UPS, and yeah, that's never fun. Yeah, not much else to say. Thank you, guys.